Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Success Life Live. My name is Reid. This is Success Life Live. We gather here every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern to help them to shift our mindset, to learn to live more intentionally and more fully engaged with our dreams, our goals, our ambitions, the things that we want to create in our life. And it's really up to us to make things happen. So I'm glad you jumped in and joined me. Good morning, Miss Courtney. See some other people jumping in. Good morning to me. Hope you are well and wonderful. Good morning, Elizabeth. Good to have you in the room. Again, let me finish. I'm Reid. I am your host, and I'm a coach and a speaker, and I'm glad you come to join me this morning. Good morning, Mohammed. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way with the good mornings and the hellos and the how are yous and where you're from and what's the weather and what's your mindset. But most of all, what's your I am statement for today? As we do that, don't forget that Friday is Fun Friend Friday. I know, Gail's not in the room. Her dog goes crazy with that for some reason. I love Captain America shirt. This is like my favorite t-shirt. I just felt so good this morning. I wanted to jump on and put my favorite t-shirt on. This one gives me like my empowerment t-shirt. Good morning, Margie. I'm all Captain America. Got Marvels, but got Captain America first. Fun Friend Friday this week is Marie Cochran. It is going to be off the hook. She will bring so much energy to your Friday morning. You would wish that it was Monday so you could just carry that through the week. But take a minute and tell her you're looking forward to seeing her on Fun Friend Friday. For those that saw yesterday, yeah, this thing gone. Little bit of a hang up, gone. Did what had to get done and got it done. So thank you so much. Again, let's jump into today's lesson because I know you guys got busy days, busy weeks ahead. So remember, we're doing the I Am Challenge. What is the I Am Challenge? If you're new or if you're sharing this out and somebody finds it or you're watching in replay, these are statements that we make about ourselves. These are the statements about who we are and what we believe about ourselves. Good morning, Poland. I had side note. So statements about who we are, our character, our qualities, are the DNA of us. And so when I say make an I am statement, sometimes people say, I'm a mom, I'm a teacher, I'm a salesperson, I'm a this or a that. Those are things that are connected to other things. And so when you think of your I am statements, think of things that don't require you to be connected to another human being, another experience, something outside yourself. I want you to start looking at who you are internally, deeply into who you are. Because what we know is when we can figure out who we are, when we learn to love self, when we see self, when we grow self, then we're able to begin to step outside that and say, you know what, there's nothing to risk. I'm not afraid of helping, giving, donating, serving other people, lifting other people up because I know who I am. But it is often out of that fear and that doubt and the insecurities that keep us trapped from being able to go to the next level, grow to the next level, and serve at the next level. And so that's why we're doing the I am statements. And I made a little bingo chart just in case you want something to do for the rest of Love Week because it's Valentine's. So just send me a quick, I'll try and get this up somewhere you can find it later today, but it's just little things that acts of kindness, little things you can do to make a difference and have fun along the way to help shift you out of self and into others. I don't think Valentine's Day should be contained to just one day. So that's a way of helping. So on the I am statement for mine today, I am a learner. Good morning, Ruthie. Good morning, Al. Sorry you guys go by so quick sometimes. You have to make lots of comments so I get to see you come up more than once. On the I am statement for me today, I put I'm a learner. And that's part of what I want to talk about when we make these I am statements and when we post these I am statements in front of us and when we keep these I am statements rolling in our heads or on our CDs or whatever we do to keep them going. Always here to help, James. Is that, like, for me, I put I am a learner. Had I put I am smart, that might have been like, yeah, that's an empowering statement. But smart is a cap. I am smart. That's sort of a limiting mindset. That's sort of a fixed point. That's sort of like I am smart. And then when smart doesn't appear, when we make a mistake, when we get the wrong answer on a quiz, when we don't beat the Jeopardy master, all of a sudden we start to plant that seed of doubt. Like, really? You said you were smart and like you didn't know that? Or you were smart, you're supposed to be smart and that didn't, like smart. And we start to begin to go, well, maybe I'm not as smart as Gail. Maybe I'm not as smart as Ale. Maybe I'm not as smart as, but I am smart. And so then we start to like quantitate and we try and mold our smartness. And we spend so much time trying to support the idea of being smart that we get distracted from the goal of lifting ourselves up. So when you make the I am statement, instead of maybe saying I am smart, say I'm a learner. Because being a learner means that I'm always adding to my knowledge. I'm always growing in my wisdom. I'm always adding something inside of me. And that if I make a mistake, if I have a screw up, if I spill milk, so to speak, suddenly the room can't go, you're not smart. They can say, well, guess you learned from that one. And you're like, yep, that's me. I'm a learner. That's me. I'm a learner. I'm a grower. I will never outlearn myself because I'm always in motion towards learning something more. So when I talk about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, my fixed mindset might be a point of arrival, like on, May 15th, I want to be this person. And I set that fixed point, much like a GPS system has to fix a point for us to get there. A growth mindset is about giving yourself an opportunity to grow into things, to change things as you move forward. So I wrote down notes sort of on the difference. Like a growth mindset would be failure is an opportunity to grow as opposed to failure is not an option. Or I can learn to do everything versus I'm not very smart. Challenge me to grow as opposed to nothing ever works out. Those things that I am pretty, I am beautiful. It's like all of a sudden you open yourself up for these comparison gaps. And if you're coming from a place of doubt, if you're coming from a place of insecurity, if you're beginning to grow into yourself, the first thing that little gremlin, that demon, that thing that gnaws away at the back of our head to the point that we just, he or she, non-gender specific, will find ways of proving your I am statements wrong. It will like go into hyper caffeine oriented overdrive of trying to find statements of like, oh, well, on your I am statement, you said, well, let me prove you wrong, because as soon as I prove you wrong, we get to go back to a fixed point, back to an existing pattern, back to an old habit, back to the failure average position that we were in before you wrote this silly piece of paper that made you think that you were suddenly smart, or that you were, rich, or that you were powerful, or that, no, little silly mindset. I didn't say I was, I said I am becoming this. I am empowered with this. I am DNA'd. Yeah, thanks, Matthew. This, like I said, my favorite shirt. Probably gonna have to buy 12 of them and just wear them every day. When we get our I am statements right, they're partly to begin to change how we program ourselves, but also to point us in the direction that we would see. So I am a learner versus I am smart. The other day, so this just shows you how I am smart would not work for me. So my son has a spelling test, and as all of you probably know, good morning, Benjamin, my ability to spell is sometimes almost humorous for those who are courteous enough to read it and not comment. So he has a spelling test, and he has pear, and pear on it, as in pear the apple, a pair of socks, and pear the fruit. Okay, I know the 3 different words. I can see the 3 different words. I know what the 3 different words are. Because of my auditory processing thing, it's hard for me to hear words spelled out loud and match up the letters and do the jumble. So I'm giving him his quiz, and I'm like, spell pear like in pear the banana, or pear the apple, or pear the carrot. And he spells a word, and I'm like, yes. And also they hear, that's not right, honey. I was like, what? That's not the right one. I was like, oh, okay. Like, he spelled a word correctly. I just picked the pear that you eat, not the pear that you do. And so I had this idea that I am smart. In that moment, my little gremlin in the back of my head would have gone like, I told you you're not smart. You can't even get a third grade spelling list done. You're a fool. Why don't you give up? Why don't you go back to where you're from? Why don't you give up on this dream, this ambition, this goal you have of finishing the book, blah, blah, blah. Instead, I was like, well, learn something new today. And I did it in humor, and but at the same time, what could have happened is if that morning I had programmed myself with, I am smart, I am smart, I am smart, I am smart, and listened to a CD all day long, I am smart, I am smart, I am smart, I am smart. And then in the evening had done 2 minutes of mantra and meditation, I am smart, I am smart, I am smart. And then I quizzed my son on how to spell pear, and he spelled the word correctly, but he matched it up to the wrong definition. All of that work, all of that energy, all of that focus, all of that attention had going to being smart would have been like, not so smart now, are you, buddy? Ha, 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 laugh, laugh, laugh. You couldn't do it, you didn't believe it. All that time and energy you spent this morning, this afternoon, and through the evening was a waste. Give up now before you give up more. Would have taken over. Instead, because I had programmed all day long, because I had been thinking all day long, because I had been leaning into I am a learner, 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 I am a learner. When that opportunity came, I sort of laughed through it because it was like, okay, spell the pear like the banana and I get the pear like the apple or the fruit. And I was like, not the little voice inside of me, but the other voice, the spouse voice that was like, that wasn't right, honey. I could have thrown up all kinds of defenses. I could have been in all kinds of disoriented anger. I could have been like, well, I didn't hear him right. I just was like, okay, guess I learned too, buddy man. Gave him a high five. We laughed about it. I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to have you write down the word on the whiteboard and show it to me because I know in my skill set that if I see it, I'm a higher level of success than if I hear a spelling word. So if I turn to you and say, could you spell the word pear? And you read it to me auditory because of my auditory processing issue from early on, there's a likelihood I could miss it. But if I had asked him to write it, shown it to me, I could have been like, oh, that's correct or that's wrong. One, I know what my skill sets are. I know where my strengths are. I know who I am and how I can recode the conditions around me to serve me better, hence the whiteboard. But I also know that I'm a learner. And so when I talk about my I am statements, I make sure that I'm not putting myself in a spot where anything that comes up, any experience that I have through the day, any fact of the external doesn't try and recreate the internal process. So I am fit. Well, you know what? Yesterday, we all saw that I wasn't fit. I had a headache, I had a migraine, it took some energy out of me. Had I said, I am healthier every day, or I'm health conscious, or I'm fitness conscious, or I'm trying to think of a sentence in that said, oh, you know what? I can learn from this. I can grow from this. You know what? I am healthier today than I was yesterday and growing so more every day. Wide open. Now, when I talk about future point, arrival, destinations fixed, I am a successful speaker. Well, my mind says if you want to be there January 1st, September, May, April, whatever it is, then I say, if I am, what do I change about me today? So that when I arrive there, I am what I said I am. It's not out of integrity or continuity or alignment with my internalness because I know that statement is a future statement, is a position statement of where I'm going to arrive. It is a statement of who I am going to become. And so what I can say is in order to be in alignment with that statement in the future, there is actions that I need to take today to achieve that statement. Got it? So sometimes a fixed point or a fixed point mindset, maybe not a fixed mindset, but a fixed point mindset gives us the ability, gives us the tools, gives us the focus to grow towards. But when we have a fixed mindset in our current statements of who we are, then it sometimes causes us to move backwards because when the failure, when the disconnect, when the out of alignment thing happens, guess what we do? We tell ourselves that was a lie and everything else on the sheet of paper was a lie and your life is a lie and everything you're doing is a lie and everything you're trying to accomplish is a lie. And every time you wake up and you go through one of those little self-help book mantra things, it's all going to fall apart. So why are you wasting your time? And if I am the only person on the entire planet that has that thing playing in their head, please tell me so. Because if that's the case, I'll feel really exceptional and really good. I will take it as a side of divine giftedness somewhere along Leonardo da Vinci's. But the truth is, we all have those demons. We all have those fears. We all have those gremlins in our head. And we've got to be careful how we feed them. And making a statement like, I am smart, and then an experience on the outside causes that to not be true. All of a sudden, that little gremlin now can be like, I'm right, you're wrong, keep moving. Because trust me, the little gremlin, the little demon, the little voice inside our head, as much as we wish it will go away, it doesn't. It's the vibration, it's the energy, it's the focus, it's the attention of the other voices that we want to have go out, that we want to grow. Shake a hand to make a friend. There you go. Like that, Greg. So on that idea of the energy and the voices we want to hear, what do you want to hear today? What do you want to hear yourself saying about yourself that allows you the opportunity to grow, to get bigger, to get stronger, to get more committed, to get more focused, to get dive in to who you are, what you want to be, where you want to grow, how you want to change? It's all within your ability. And the little I am statement, that's a start. It's taking a few minutes to look at you. It is, Craig. It's a fight. It's a challenge. And honor, man, I honor you for recognizing that you had to fight back the dude. Like you were in a position that you could actually say, you know what, little dude inside my head, I hear you. I acknowledge you. I know who you are. We have lived together. And there's no way I am going to be able to get rid of you, but there's a lot of things I can do to stop listening to you, to turn the other way, to go a new direction, to change who I'm becoming. Good morning, Mr. Dad Nathan Cook. The clock is ticking, my friend. The clock is ticking. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. Nathan Cook, if you don't know, is soon to be a dad. Those of us that are parents, you remember those couple months leading up where the house was filling with baby boxes and baby gifts and baby. And then you remember those few months afterwards where the only thing you wished it filled was with a pillow and a blanket. Yeah, Nathan's on the cusp. So what are the statements you want to have about yourself today? What are the things that you need to really start fighting back? To acknowledge that, you know what, all my life, and I'll be honest, because that's what we do up in here, is when I was growing up, and I would make that like the example I gave you, which, and which, where like don't even start on that. I would hear my mother, I would hear my dad, I would hear everybody, including my little sister at the table next to me going, you're so stupid. You are so stupid. It became almost like the Comedy Channel where it was like, let's set Eric up to show him how stupid he is. Let's show Eric that he's the dumbest person at the table. Let's pop quiz him and see how bad he messes up words like there, and we, and were, and things like that was like the family game for a number of years. So I grew up programmed that I am stupid, I can't spell, so don't do anything that requires you to expose yourself to that, like writing, like going to law school because that's going to require a lot of writing, like becoming a teacher because someday you're going to have to write on a blackboard. Don't do anything where anybody could ever see you write, because if they see you write, they're going to see how stupid you are. And if they see how stupid you are, you'll be left behind, left out, not included, etc., etc. I used to get to the point that I mean, I don't know if it ever really stopped. But when I would go on like a job application fill out kind of thing, remember the back in the day where you filled out job applications? I would carry with me cheat sheets of words that I knew were, my mom taught me this trick, so give her credit for that too. Of words that I know would commonly appear on an application, including my name and my date of birth spelled out. I would write down all of those words that could possibly show up on a job application, because sometimes they would say, fill out the application, and they would like point you to the table in the back of the room where you had to do it. I would carry it with me so that when I got there and they would say, what is the month you were born in? I could spell it correctly, or my middle name correctly, or my last job correctly, or whatever was on the cheat sheet, so that I wouldn't expose the fact that I couldn't sell. Now, I probably could have done the job 10 times better than anybody in the room because I'm a hard worker. So I grew up living in a very small box, living in a very tight hole, living in a very small comfort zone, because I was uncomfortable with anything that would require me to write. As you know, that's kind of changed. I've now written well over 400, 500, 600 blogs and posts. I've had some of my blogs picked up and actually got a check the other day for writing a blog. It's kind of funny. It wasn't a big check. It was like, I don't know, less than $25 or something because of the number of clicks. Anyhow, side note. But what it reaffirmed to me is that, one, I can learn to compensate. I posted notes. Yes. Amen. We all need cheat sheets. But I had to recognize that, yes, I'm not a good speller. I have this thing called auditory processing, whatever that means. I'm not going to use that as an excuse to hold me back, but what I'm going to do is allow myself not to let that become the fixed point mindset that you can't do because you can't spell. I can't spell, but I got all kinds of things, and I hire people, and I post things, and I give to people, and people point back, go, you misused the word there, and I'm like, cool, I'm going to live past that. So I am smart, though that sounds like a very powerful I am statement. For me to be able to use the I am statement of I am a learner allows me to make mistakes, gives me grace, gives me growth, gives me opportunity to keep on pushing to my dream instead of always having to validate and upstate and restore my I am statement and saying, well, when I said I was smart, I meant I'm gifted with divine intelligence and all of this, like manicure the statement. I don't have time or energy for that. But if I say I am a learner and a mistake or a misspelling or confusion pops up, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm a learner, jump in, get the learning zone on. All right, so that's what I want you guys to think about with the I am statements. Some of that is written out in the instruction sheet you'll get. If you go to www.ericgreid, just for those that don't know, that's spelled R-E-I-D, ericgreid/February 2019. So again, you'll get the I am statement, you'll get the little graph. I'll try and add this today. It's the I am bingo. It's the, here we go. It's a bingo. It's just a bunch of little squares that like ask you to sort of step out of yourself. Random acts of kindness that you can be doing throughout the week to express Valentine's instead of filling us all up with chocolate. Though I do like dark chocolate. Dark chocolate. So thank you guys so much for being a part of Success Life Live this morning. Thank you, Greg. I like Greg. Greg is like dumping some wisdom with us. One of the things I do want to encourage you guys to do, often I'll be in a group like this with another teacher or thought leader or coach or whatever, and I'll see the people that are making comments and getting involved. I love going back throughout the day and speaking to them directly. Like, hey, I noticed you were watching so-and-so's video or in such and such a class. I wanted to connect with you. Why? Because in my news feed, they're going to show up at some point and they're going to be speaking a language that is common to me, common to my beliefs, common to my thinking. So why wouldn't I want them in my news feed as opposed to somebody randomly posting negative political ads? So connect with each other offline and through this and in replays and by sharing. Build a tribe of like-minded people that are going to show up in your news feed in a way that adds and lifts you up as opposed to distracts and takes you down. All right? And a great way to do it is through Fun Friend Friday with Marie Cochran. I got to throw that in 3 times. That's the rule. So I've done that for, I think. Till we get together tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. I want to thank you guys for being a part of Success Life Live and allowing me to host it with you now 700 and some odd times. I'm going to have to find out the real number, or I'm just going to make up a number and we'll start counting from there. You won't know. Ha, ha, ha. I thank you for being a part of it. And I will see you again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern for another Success Life Live. In the meantime, I'd be happy to be your coach, or if you're having an event where you're looking for a speaker, Let me know. Really want to do more bigger platform speaking this year. I sort of put it on hold last year just because of the move and the transition and all the chaos that was going on. So love to open that channel back up, putting that out there into the universe, letting it see where it settles. All right, till tomorrow, I wish you guys the very best. Make today a success. It is yours. It is waiting for you. You just got to step into it. Bye-bye, everybody.